You're welcome back from that break. This is still the AM Club coming to you live from the MX24 studios, only on the streets, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. My name is Miriam Udwa Kamenta. We're about to have a great conversation, one that is very important. If this year you're looking at getting married, so the 2026 brides, get in here, okay? This marriage thing is not just about marrying, it's also about parenting. Now, to parents who are parenting, Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, and the Gens behind those ones. There's a special technique to raise these children. They are not normal children. They are different. They are different. Those ones were built very, very differently. I remember during the COVID era, we saw videos of these COVID babies, and someone said, COVID actually was a purpose driven illness. It was supposed to bring a certain generation. It was supposed to birth a certain generation. What we didn't see was that was birthing a whole new generation. So that generation needed us to isolate for them to come. Yupam is a serious revelation. Oh, catch this, okay? That generation, right? They needed everybody to be in the room before they come, because that was a grand entry. They needed a grand entry into the world. Now they are showing us shaggy. So we are going to learn parenting in this generation. Well, today we're looking at this conversation because we're going to be focusing on the growing online risk facing children as digital access becomes a part of everyday life. It will examine why children are increasingly vulnerable in online spaces, highlight common cyber traps such as scams, predators, cyberbullying, and harmful content, and offer practical, easy to apply safety tips for parents, guardians, and young people. The discussion also emphasizes the importance of early digital education as a powerful tool for prevention, empowering children to navigate the internet, responsibly, while giving adults the knowledge they need to protect and guide them in today's fast evolving digital world. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to be looking at today and why we're looking at it. Now, I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to introduce my guests for this morning. Well, they're okay. So I want to believe that they are all Hajias. So joining us for the conversation this morning is Ali. Okay, so joining us for the conversation, Salama to Chator.
Yes, Chato.
Chato. Ibrahim. Chato is what?
It's a Rotarian name.
So you cross country. You
No,
cross
I'm
capital.
Rotarian.
You're Voltarian who is Muslim. Who married a Muslim or who is a Muslim by
It's a Muslim.
who was a Muslim. Oh wow. You're lying. You're lying.
It's
You're
true.
lying.
This one there is true.
So she's a cybersecurity consultant, founder, Your Cyber Guardian. Oh, beautiful. This cybersecurity girl from the north, this one is from the Volta region, who's a Muslim. Rafia to Ibrahim, Quality Assurance Engineer, Executive Director, Your Cyber Guardian. Good morning.
Morning.
Let me look for the name. You are not from the Volta region. But good morning, ladies. How are we doing?
Yeah.
We're good. Awesome. And we're happy to to have you join us in the studio. We all can agree that this has become a very important conversation. I'll give you a story right before we kickstart. My son is 16. I think this will be December. December was really tight for us. So, we're working throughout the month. Sometimes I'm getting home late. Sometimes I'm picking him up late. Sometimes my brother is getting him late. And it was really a crazy season for him. So I decided to take 1 week off to stay at home. Like this is something he hasn't experienced in a while, so it's going to be tough on him. So I'm just an overprotective and a paranoid mother. So that's why, believe me, until I get home, I'm at the edge. So sometimes when I'm yelling at my team, I tell them it's not you. Let me get home. You see, I'll be fine. Yes, once I get out of the house, I'm paranoid throughout the day about my son. Like I need to call, I need to hear. I'm a paranoid mother. I've come to embrace that. It's okay. I'm taking it like that. So one dawn, I woke up and I was thirsty. I was actually working at night. So I just came out of the room, was heading to my kitchen, and I realized that my son was sitting in front of his laptop at 1 a.m. He's 16. It's like, what's going on here? He panicked, obviously. And then when I went to check what he was doing on the laptop, he was talking to his friends. There were 4 people in the chat at 1 a.m. bro, I lost my cool, because you know that immediately it's not that it is like, why are you talking at night? It's really what is going on here.
Exactly. That is so important at 1 a.m.
That's 1 a.m. is when you pull her out. See, I found every single parent of those children. Oh, me, I did. As part of my training, I think CID needs me. He was trying to hide some of the, I found all of them. And I told the parents what they were doing. Immediately, one of the girls was also a single mother. She broke down. I said, "There's no time to be breaking down. You're raising a 16-year-old. You cannot break down. This time to level up." Because I personally thought that my child sleeps when I'm sleeping. It was just 1 or 2 weeks that I was busy with work. And those 2 weeks created a whole gap for him to be able to fill it with something.
Yeah.
In his mind, the woman is sleeping, or she just prayed. I heard her pray. Once she's quiet, she's at wada. And this is not happening with a lot of parents knowing that this is happening with your children. Oh, I went right for the laptop and we're done. Until God taps you and you are 20 years old, there's no laptop, there's no phone for you. We're done. At this point, obviously you could tell that he's frustrated. But I'm using the you pay for what you do mechanism. But there are other ways that, I think you who is, preview to the space and how harmful it is and how safe it could be, you're able to run us through. This was my personal experience. Bro, I was scared. I was like, 1 a.m. Me, I'm not even up. If I'm up at 1 a.m., two things could be happening. I'm either talking to my boyfriend or I am working. Now, 1 a.m. crying, just had any. So in my mind, what could you possibly be doing or talking about? It was a group chat. And the group chat was on Zoom.
Hey.
So this generation, when I tell you that they were ready for their own journey, Charlie, what people are doing, they have a whole Zoom link set up, Zooming. Night. Told me that they were coding. So why children are increasingly vulnerable, online? Why do you think children are increasingly vulnerable online?
Well, just like you mentioned, those that came recently you see, for some of us in our years, we came to meet no phones and then graduated to using phones, and all of a sudden got used to using phones. You're all on TikTok. But there were some sets of kids that grew up with the digital devices. And for them, they have known nothing of growing up and not having a digital device. So it would mean that would normally be their everyday life. You have children of 2 having tablets because parents want to have it a little easy on themselves. When your child has a tablet, they're not disturbing you. So this child grows up and then they have a whole world online. And in as much as parents, like you say, we try our best to ensure that your child is eating well, going to school, coming back, having a healthy life. Right now, in the time we find ourselves, it will mean that we also have to ensure that our children are safe online. Because like you're saying, this child could be online, talking to anybody at any time, anybody in the world.
Yeah.
And that exposes them to so many issues. Some of them you mentioned, like cyberbullying, being exposed to online nudity, finding people sextorting them because they might have fallen into the trap of sending them nudes already, and so many other things. Now, how do we ensure that this young child is being protected, or this child is not necessarily falling prey to this? Because whether we like it or not, they are children. You might want to think that, this one is old enough to make a decision. But in as much as they're old enough to make a decision, they're also naive enough to just follow through with something that they find online and assume to be normal. You would find today that older people that are supposed to mostly be guiding the young children are the ones posting this nude content. And you also find today that older men that you would think would want to protect people that are their children's age are the ones texting these young ladies for such videos, and they're falling prey to it. And in the end, you find them asking, what was the girl wearing? All sorts of things. So my point is, it's because they are being led by these other people on the internet. So as a parent, how do you ensure that your young child, even though being online, is somewhat safe? And I wouldn't want to just rush into the technology of it because most of the time that's what we do and then it causes the problem. I believe that to start off first, you would have to have a one-on-one conversation with your young child. Whilst you are giving them this digital device, you are letting them know that this device is not only for good. You are not only going onto the internet because you find interesting things, and that there are other dangers that you face. Because, number one, if they are aware of what they are going through, it sort of opens their eye onto the kind of things that they can face. So you let them know that so when you go online, you can find people trying to cyberbully you, can find people trying to coerce you into doing certain things. If someone is telling you, oh, this is something small, don't tell mommy or don't tell daddy, then there's actually an issue with that, and then you don't have to keep it to yourself. Let them know that, oh, you can come to me when there's an issue. Now, beyond that, you also have to put in technical controls. Now, these technical controls also have to come with an understanding. Because sometimes when you put them in place, they always find a way around it. They always find ways to maybe even use a friend's phone. But then you are letting them understand that this is why I'm doing this. It's not that I don't want to give you the device. I am giving it to you because, of course, you can also learn on it. But we want to set time limits so that maybe during the day you can watch TikTok for 1 hour and then you can focus on other things. During the day you can use YouTube, but it's only YouTube for kids. The things on YouTube is of this age limit. So I will set the age limit on it and then you can do age appropriate things. During the time you want to Google something, I'm using a KidSafe browser for you. Maybe something like KidSafe, AngelQ. Those are certain browsers that you can use. And then even if the child is to search something pornographic, they won't get the results. Yes. YouTube too, like I'm saying, has the version, YouTube for kids. You join in, you search whatever you want to do. All contents are for children. And even for my younger sister, we have even gone to the extent of implementing that for Netflix. So for Netflix, we have several accounts for several people. We have password protected every single account. And then for her particular one, then she can use it. So we are not necessarily preventing them from embracing technology because you cannot. At this point, what you have to do is to ensure that they are sort of safe while using it and also protecting. So you put in time limitations. Bedtime is 7. 7, the phone is not accessible. If they want to download something on, say, App Store, that will send you a notification on your phone.
Yes, I always get
and
it.
then you
almost as if they wake up in the morning and they want to download everything. Get on if you decline it.
Normally, they start with one game.
Yes.
And the game comes with an ad. And they tap on it and then they go to download another.
So you block it all.
Yes.
Mommy, you're just blocking all my games. I said, because you don't need them. Yeah. There was this one that I saw and I almost agreed to. I was like, oh, somebody just told me to just look it up. Grand Theft Auto. Ooh. I was like, does this boy even know what he's going to play? I just blocked it.
That's a very dangerous game.
I'm telling you.
Very dangerous because the kind of things you can even purchase on the game, no. It's bad grooming.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things you need to do. You need to put in parental controls. You need to have one-on-one conversations with your child. And you also need to understand that whilst you have set those limits, that doesn't mean that everything is done. Yeah. You need to constantly review, like you're saying, and also constantly have conversations with your child. Sometimes, even though you've told them for the first time that they can talk to you, they might not necessarily believe you, right? So as time goes on, you keep having conversations with them. Oh, I saw this, I saw this on your phone. I saw this. Why do you want this app? You might give them the opportunity to explain, just for explanation's sake. Sometimes you understand that, oh, it's just naivety. They don't really know what they are going into. Then you point out the problem. That's why we are not doing this. But then there's an alternative. You can do this, you can do that. That's one-on-one alongside parenting your child online helps a little in curbing the problem that we are all facing now.
Yes. Yeah. There's one trend that I think I noticed this trend a couple of years ago when parents start opening accounts for their children who are probably not even of the age of posting themselves. So they're posting for them. You meet these children being cyberbullied. The recent case would be that of my sister's daughter. So that's my niece, Fala Makafi's daughter, who was... I mean, you saw that comment. I don't want to repeat it. It's really, really disgusting. In a situation like that, how do you manage a child who's not ready for social media. In my opinion, I initially thought that, well, that's a celebrity. She wants a celebrity account for the daughter. It's okay. You want to do that because brand creation for a child who is already from a public family is not entirely a crime. It's also an economic structure you're creating for yourself. It makes sense economically. But for the child's sanity, for an image of a child to be dragged into a drama like that, what would be your recommendation? You want to take that? Yeah, you haven't spoken yet, so please take that.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think in situations like that, since like the children do not know, like
what's going on.
They don't know what's going on, so it's up to the parents to know how to curb the situation at that moment. And in this case, I think.
Please get closer to your mic a little bit for me.
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay, great. There we go.
So in that situation, I think it's important that Fela McAfee probably takes the search post or search comments down, like delete it, because as much as the child is not in charge of whatever that is going on or doesn't know whatever that is going on, the child might grow to like see the comment or whatever that has been posted and all of that, and it might affect. And the Island, right, that's her name, she probably wouldn't see it as just something someone said, right? And these are some of the things that get to the children and then make them say, okay, this is what they are saying. And then if it feels normal, it makes it look normal, because, I mean, if this person is saying,
that kind of abuse.
If this adult is saying this, it means that it's fine. Like, I can also... and I can receive, and then it makes them feel like, as far as it's out there and people are talking about it, they can receive it, and it's very bad for like children.
I see what you're talking about.
I also think that in curbing the issue, we can try turning off comments, because of course, like you're saying, it's economical. You want to give a brand to your child as people love children, so of course it's a good marketing decision. But then I think, number one, we can turn off comments. And number two, is not only the parents' responsibility. Recently, I have seen that the Cybersecurity Authority is doing quite a good work in trying to penalize people that are doing. I saw this recent one about one women advocate and this extortion issue, and then he's being penalized for it. I think that particular move is a good one, because, of course, it's not only your child that is your child. Every single person is a parent. So those are CSA putting in the effort to ensure that certain people that are doing certain things are being arrested is a good step to solving that issue. Now, number two, and I mentioned this some time back, it has to do with the monetization of TikTok, like the Minister for Communications said. I think that one way to help with that is for people that, say, post online, and they post these nude pictures, and then they make these insulting comments that sort of normalizes such behaviors. If it comes to the monetization of the content that they post, then these people shouldn't be receiving anything, right? It should only be those that are posting good content, promoting maybe the country, trying to teach people about certain things, posting educational content out there that should be receiving. So they should
put like a cap on what you could post to get money.
Exactly. That way, when you're always posting nonsense and it's not going anywhere, eventually, it's all money we're looking for. So it will sort of bring down the negative contents that go out for our children to be seeing, basically.
And to add to what Salma said, I think it will surprise you, the kind of things, especially TikTok. As for me, I've left that place because...
Are you talking about TikTok? That's X. That
it will surprise you.
X is serious.
X.
And they allow anything. And now it's Grok.
I'm not X.
It's wild. Hey, you are doing well. No
I'm
TikTok,
not,
no
no
X.
TikTok, no.
Wow.
No, me, no
Just
TikTok, no
Instagram.
Snap. No.
As in for you or for your child?
No, for me.
No TikTok.
Yeah, no, I've left
I have the page. Is there Snap? I don't even understand it. I only use it for videos, filter and things, and I don't understand this. I don't understand how the thing works.
Oh, me, I'm Gen Z, so I understand.
Good luck. It's your generation that is causing the problem. I only do Instagram, Facebook, X. I feel like I need time to build it. So, I know I just don't get time. Yeah, but all these other pages, I don't understand them. I don't understand TikTok. I don't understand what's going on there. Because when you go on TikTok, it's like all your family villages and village witches were put there.
Yeah, everybody.
It's like everybody hates everybody.
Yeah.
I don't understand it all. Oh, guys,
Insult,
am I going
down.
crazy? Yeah, it looks like everybody hates each other there. And a man, why?
Everybody has
Why?
has
Isaac, right? It's crazy.
Oh, but
Yeah.
you know, with TikTok too, beyond they randomly putting in things that you don't like,
Yeah.
you normally see the things you normally like.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, you build your For You page brick by brick.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I
And
don't
all
have
of a
time.
sudden, you start
Just do for
seeing...
me. Do for me. I don't want all these
Yeah,
kind of
I think
people.
what Salmatu is saying, sometimes the kind of things, sometimes if you watch a certain video to a certain point, they'll assume that you like this video. So they'll bring you more. But if I see a video and then the person starts talking, wait, Jimmy Pa, what, I'll just scroll.
For me, my TikTok,
Yes,
mostly maths questions, cybersecurity topics, and then dancing videos. I hardly ever see, unless for like you're saying, it's so trending that TikTok wants me to see it.
Like
Then once
us,
it will just
yeah.
come and pass through. But then again, it's the habit.
But you see, again, that's us. We know how to navigate this. The children don't know that. And
Yeah.
they're in a hurry. Somehow, we thought we were in a hurry to grow, but these ones, they're in a hurry to be there.
I want
They're
to
grown.
grow
My
my
I was
first-
giving my friends a story the other day that a friend of mine found that his daughter was doing Snap. So they sent the video to me. It was like, Mims, I'm like, because the daughter is my goddaughter. So that's my goddaughter. I'm not going to say my friend's daughter. That's my goddaughter. It's like, I'm so she's only 10. I'm coming to talk to her. And then when I said it to her, she was like, all my classmates have Snap. I said, yeah. At 10. All your classmates have Snap. And their mothers, and they do the Snap. So she was showing, I said, proof. Give me proof. So she's following all her friends on the Snap thing. So she was showing the video, and some of them, they are doing the videos
I know
with
it's
their
now
parents.
it's now dawning on me that like 10 is actually a very young age.
10 is a very young age.
At 10, some of us didn't even know what phones were. Like, we like,
Hey, 10 is very young. Even I
10.
didn't think 10 was so young until I had my child. When my child was 10, I'm like, this guy can't even decide for himself what he wants to eat in the morning. This boy is young. 10 is a
some of
very,
them
very,
can't
very young
properly
age.
even take their bath at 10.
Right. So I started talking to her. Whilst I was talking to her, I could tell that she wasn't listening. Because for her, why are you the only people thinking Snap is bad? When all my friends and their mothers are doing Snap.
Yeah.
Like there was this one that she was doing the one-legged video with her mom. And then some trending endurance dance B. And there's one who is with, what's that girl's name? Afronita's
Kids.
thing. So she does the videos, her dance videos on Snap.
Okay.
So you see, in her mind, why are you people so troublesome? Like, why do I not need to be on Snap? Like, all of these people are on Snap. And she's even learning how to do the dance. And the dance that she knows how to dance, we don't know how to dance the dance. And we didn't even know that she knows how to dance. See, that's how frustrating this whole thing is. They are not talking. Some parents are hands-on parents, but they still can't get their children to speak to them about the things happening on social media. Charlie, this thing is getting difficult by the day. So because they're already exposed to these things, for a child who has already seen what is happening there and has grown interest in it, how do we manage this? Right?
First things first. I think that, like I'm saying, you see, this is a very difficult question to answer. Like I'm saying, it's not really about the child than it is about your parent.
Your parenting.
So like you were mentioning, some other people were doing certain videos with their children. Sometimes parents understand that children get more likes than they do. And they intend to use that as an opportunity to sort of hit that stardom that they are looking for.
So they are using their children
Yeah, kind of.
I don't want to use my mouth to say it.
to say it. Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, that is what is posing them to the risk. So you find that some parents, maybe their child is going to school, child takes a picture outside their gate, they take the picture, they post it, they post the child's school, and this is sort of giving people on the internet information
About your
your child. If I am looking to even kidnap the child, it's as easy as possible.
yeah,
I know their house. I know
their
you, the
full
parents,
name.
your number. I know their full name. I go to the school. I'm like, their mother said I should come for this, and they can even show you their mother's picture for confirmation to ensure that, oh, this person or this person has been sent by their child. If the parent doesn't, the school doesn't go the extra mile to say call the parent to verify, then your child has been given off. So it's actually beyond you trying to make sure that your child is doing the right thing. I think that you should also check yourself
Yes.
as a parent. That what am I doing
Yeah.
to ensure the safety
Yeah.
of my child?
Yeah.
What kind of content am I putting my child? Like, what even situation am I putting my child in for other people to say, hey, I want to say this about my child.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Maybe for some reason, just wait.
Yeah. For them to
grow
give
up.
your so in recent days or weeks, well, like about a month now, there's this video that is an AI video of children
children
singing.
dancing.
Don't play with me.
Yeah.
And find us one of those videos. They're baby videos. Find it and play it. And if you guys can, go on what's her name? Juliana Amoating's page. She has a video
Yeah.
about this kind of content and
I think I
how
saw that
harmful
video.
it is. Guys, if you're able to find me this video, I love you forever. So Juliana Martin, she the content creator. She did a video on this little girls, animated AI videos of they saying, "Don't play me." Even this morning I posted one. That video, right? In her explanation, she said something about how we are normalizing children being put out here without even knowing it. Notes that this video could have been someone older, AI video of older people. But we all know how adorable it is, for a child to be doing certain things. We, as condemned parents who started putting their children online, dancing adult-style dance. We were the ones who were condemning that. Then all of a sudden, someone says, I'm going to use AI to create babies singing and dancing, or babies saying things that they're not supposed to say. So you've seen the other ones that babies will be like, my parents, no one make her sleep. So I know those other ones. Those ones came before the dance videos.
Yes.
And the children were saying adult things. They were dressed like adults, but they were babies. We normalized
And
that.
we're finding it
And we're finding it
adorable.
amusing and beautiful and cute until it's no longer cute, she said. She said that these things are enablers of people who think that children are good enough for certain things, i.e. sex, to be useful, many
And you
things.
find them in the content. This baby will be sweet, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
You
oh
find them
my
in the
God.
comment section. It's so bad. And
So we are encouraging these videos, like myself this morning, I posted one. We're saying that it's okay. So all of a sudden, when we see a young baby who is human, not AI, imitating these videos, turning her back and doing, don't pay me, and do all those kind of things, we will say, oh, she's doing that thing that other AI
Yeah,
thing,
we will
and we
find
will
it
normalize
cute.
it.
It's okay.
because we have
That is
already
the
been
risk.
programmed.
Yeah.
Because it's a mental work that is
Exactly.
happening right now. Somebody has engineered this. We, as what we are, have followed it. We might not notice the harm that is associated to this, but when certain movements like this have been thrown to us, how do we remove it out of our system before it catches fire like this one has? Another difficult one, right?
I know, right?
Because
Parenting is not easy.
parenting is not a joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my point on this is that the social media or TikTok only shows us the things that we feed it and the things that we like. TikTok would not promote a video if so many people are not liking it. It will be dead in the next 26 likes and then it's gone. If we as a people, or we as people that are interested in training young children to be better versions of themselves, make sure to condemn such posts, Sometimes you even find TikTok asking you, how do you feel about this video? I did not like it. If I'm not liking this video, the next time I see it, I'm flipping. As time goes on, the algorithm realize that this is not videos that people are interested in. So now it becomes a community responsibility. For us, the people on social media, mostly we the adults, making the decisions that this content is not going to fly and it's not going to be something that we are going to normalize and allow it to become okay. Because on your not so favorite app, X, recently they have normalized undressing people. So they tell their Grok app, puts this girl in a bikini, and then the AI of the app does it and then posts it. And then if you send a message to, say, maybe Twitter regarding that, they might send you a poop emoji or something. Yeah.
And
like you're a bomber. Yeah, that's the video. Yeah. Please, let's watch the video and come back to see you. Yeah, this is what I posted this morning.
Like, it's cute.
You see.
It's cute.
Even your guardian is here saying it's cute. I posted this one. But you know that you as parents, are you a parent? No, you're not.
I'm
You are a wife, so parents later, parents soon, whatever parent. I'm a parent. Okay. So now, if I saw my daughter behaving like this, I beat you. Like I didn't pay him no. You know what I mean? Yeah, they pay him no. Na nyom ne kakra, nyam kakra o to skirmishes no. Sister, I will beat you. I'll not beat you, but I'll stop you. I definitely wouldn't encourage something like this because of one, the society we come from. You want to,
people sexualize your child.
And this is a pretty little girl. People have children that actually look like this. So you're normalizing watching a child act this way. Very soon, the children will start, children will start acting this way. Because this video, and I echo around, I saw another one yesterday. This will be on my other 055 number. See if you can see it. It's an actual child doing the steez and smooth move. He's doing like he's dancing, but he's doing it like in a slow steez, and it's an actual child. So when I saw the video, which is kind of what excited me about this conversation, I was like, this is what Julie was saying. When we're done, I'll show you the video. Guys, if you're able to find it on my 055 number, you can share that with us too. Is that an actual child doing the steez, which is he's doing like he's leaning on the wall and just doing a nice steez move. And that's an adult dance, right? In my opinion, Julie was right, but the thing has already caught fire. What do we do to protect these children? Now, what can teachers, because teachers spend a lot of time with these children, than parents do. I mean, 90% of their day spent in school. How can teachers, institutions, people who are not direct parents of these children help curb this menace of getting children dragged into an environment that they're not mentally ready for?
Yes. When Salma was talking, I wanted to say something, and then you also said something that I want to add. Talking about it's being on TikTok and people not liking it. How many people will actually not like something like this? Because as we all watched the video, it was cute. And then like you want to see more. And so in as much as we wouldn't want to see certain things like this, what's the number of people who actually watch? Because it's hard to pass these kind of videos. And then also what she said about that's what will bring us to educating parents and also even teachers to know what to put out there when it comes to like videos like this about their children and all of that. Because in as much as we wouldn't want to see it, like it will keep coming to our face, right? But when it comes, how do we manage it? And so the parents and then the teachers as well have to be educated on things like this. What are some of the effects on the children when you put your child out there, when you put a video of your child out there in the name of wanting likes, followers, and all of that? At the end of the day, what are the effects on the children and on you, the parent, as well? Because you are not just a parent. You are not just trying to be a parent. You are trying to be a good parent to your child. So what is your contribution? What are you trying to do to manage a situation like this? So I think that the education shouldn't be just on the children, as
Yeah.
Salma said, it should also be on the parent, and the education should be more,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you are fighting someone who is like, it's like the videos are coming, you are trying to fight, more is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So the education should be more as time goes on,
Yeah.
so that we will be able to overcome whatever situation is with this whole.
I also think that the regulators have a role to play.
Yes.
As in CSA, NCA, they all should. So in some countries, even though there are certain apps like TikTok and things, there are certain things that are blocked from being shown to their citizens.
True.
That could be done in Ghana.
True.
Because Ghana, beyond being maybe a normal country, also has certain cultures. We know how we want our children to grow up. We know the kind of values that we want to instill in our parents. So with the minister mentioning that he wanted to regulate the apps that we use, I think that is a good idea.
So that's the video I'm talking about. So this is not AI. This is a baby. This is a child. Do you see what he's doing? It looks safe. Adults dance that looks safe. Tomorrow it'll be a video of a child twerking.
Yeah.
And
because
we've
we
seen
are okay
AI
with this,
twerk, AI sing, you've seen that ones, right? Yes.
A lot.
Since you've seen AI do that, it will be okay for a little girl to do it, and that's how we're, putting this into our society as though it is normal. So if a child becomes a victim of an online scam, abuse, or cyberbullying, what immediate steps should parents take?
Number one, I think that what you have to do is take screenshots of who exactly is doing that, because you will need evidence eventually. Don't reply to the person again. Block that person. Close the account. Talk to your child. Understand what the modus operandi was, how exactly they got to that point, such that you can know what the root cause is to solve it. Sometimes you might think that I just want to solve what exactly I saw, but then there might actually be some emotional reason for which you haven't even unlocked that is causing the problem. And then you go on to report to 292, that is for CSA, the Ghana Police Service. There are also organizations that do advocacy for young children. For your cyber guardian, we do same.
Yeah.
We can help you with the reporting process, taking it through all the way to ensure that whatever the issue is, law enforcement has heard it. And now that we know that they are taking it seriously, a step is going to be taken to solve the problem. And with screenshots, we know we have a better case.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly.
So now let's talk about your cyber guardian, what you do over there. Let's get to know about you, so parents can take advantage of this opportunity to protect their children.
Rafia, I'll give you
Rafia.
that.
Okay, thank you very much. So, at your cyber guardian, our major
You want to get close to the microphone a little bit?
okay, at your cyber guardian, we aim at educating young children. Even though not only young children, but our major concern is the young children, because they are the most vulnerable in situations like this. So we target young children in schools, communities, and all of that. We educate them. We make them know the effects. We make them understand that this is not right. This is right. Don't do this on the internet. Do this and all of that. So that is the major thing your cyber guardian is aiming at. So that's to make the internet safe. Even though we can't stop the children from going to the internet, we help them make the internet safe for them. Yes.
Awesome. How do we connect with you at the cyber guardian?
So you can follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at yourcyberguardian.com. And then again, beyond our outreaches, because we have realized, and that is something that I think is very key, because you can only reach as many as you can go. But then we do short videos, post online, so that even though these children are online, they are seeing other things, they will also see educational content.
Yeah.
And then they can learn from it. Parents, we also post tips on how to set up parental controls so that they can follow through and do all of these things, just to make sure that the internet is a safer place for everybody.
Yeah.
The parent, the child, the regulator, every single person.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming. This has been a great conversation. At least this one was one that I personally am passionate about. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And hopefully we as modern parents will know how to navigate this journey. It's not easy, but God will help us. And with this knowledge that we have, also some of us are going to have to subscribe to your
Cyber
pages,
Guardian.
yes, and so that we can learn a thing or two. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Now to you out there, like I always say, this is a movement. It's not just a morning show. We're learning and growing together, and so please let's keep doing this. Our children deserve. You people can see I'm getting into that mood. Just children are just too vulnerable. They don't even know they are vulnerable. So as parents, be hands on. See, the old ways of parenting is can be included in your modern style parenting, should be included. Thank you. Should be included. You are sparing the road and you're spoiling the child, and you're here taking. I want to gentle parent and kill that child. Because if you don't kill them physically, you're exposing them to an environment that will kill them. And so make sure you are hands-on. Make sure you're available as much as you can. It's tough, but show up. Let your children know that they have you in their corner so that they don't find solace in other places. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of us became the kind of adults that we are because of absentee parenting. And so we don't want you to do that. We don't want to create more, kakas in our society. These children deserve to be the child that people would want to emulate, people would want to celebrate. So please, let's do this for these children. It's for them. It's for them. It's really for them. It's really for them. So let's do this for them. Again, we have more coming up on the show. Stay right here with us. This is still the AM Club coming to you live from the MX24 studios, only on the streets, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. I'll be right back after this.